It is Tuesday, November 21st, and this is The National. Tonight's celebration in the streets as Robert Mugabe quits. But will Zimbabwe's new leadership really bring change?
New revelations in our investigation into Bell Canada's high-pressure sales tactics. Customers and employees are speaking out.
But we begin with Canadians unsure if payday will bring a paycheck. Indeed, that's the worry of Canada's 300,000 public servants month after month, and there's no end in sight. A grim diagnosis today from the Auditor General. The Phoenix pay system will take years to fix. There is now a backlog of 265,000 files, public servants who were overpaid, underpaid, not paid at all. The federal government has already committed $540 million to fix Phoenix, but today the Auditor General said the Liberals lowballed the cost and the time it will take.
I can say it's unacceptable, but unacceptable just doesn't capture the seriousness of this issue.
It's not fair and it is unacceptable, but we are doing our absolute best to get to those people.
The minister says her number one priority is paying public servants accurately and on time, but what she won't say, how much more money is going to be needed for the fix. Carla Qualtrough says the backlog of pay problems will likely start going down early next year, but that's not soon enough for the people who have commitments to meet, bills to pay. Katie Simpson spoke with two women who have fallen victim to Phoenix.
Johanna Jenkins' 2016 tax return is nearly 500 pages because of problems she encountered with Phoenix. The federal government has underpaid her by thousands of dollars, and the uncertainty, she says, has triggered anxiety.
I feel worn out. I don't sleep very well. I'm lucky if I sleep 2 to 3 hours at night, most nights.
Jenkins has taken days of sick leave from her job at Fisheries and Oceans Canada and now uses medication to sleep. To make ends meet, she cut all unnecessary spending, even her daughter's gymnastic classes. But still, she's had to turn to family for financial help.
It humiliates me because I'm in my 40s and never in my adult life have I ever had to ask for that kind of assistance. I love this one and my mom.
Jenkins says the hardest part of this situation is not being able to afford the travel to visit her elderly mother who lives in Ottawa.
My mother has Alzheimer's, and, progressively over time, there's less and less of my mother to visit. I'd really like to see her sooner rather than later.
Johanna Jenkins certainly isn't alone when it comes to developing anxiety because she's been underpaid. But there are also tens of thousands of public servants who are dealing with the same kind of stresses because they've been overpaid, like Crystal Warner, who lives here in Russell, Ontario.
Last Wednesday, I received a deposit for $26,172.25. All at once.
What did you think when that arrived in your bank account?
I started crying because I knew immediately that I was about to face a financial administration nightmare.
Crystal Warner shouldn't be getting any pay since she left her job at the Immigration and Refugee Board in February. She's terrified the government will claw back more than it put in her account, which is a common complaint.
It's unbelievably frustrating, never mind the effects that it has on wellness and mental health.
Warner is a vice president of a branch of the Public Service Alliance of Canada. She says the union is considering walkouts in protest, and she's asking the public to be patient.
Just try and understand what it would mean for you and your family if you weren't getting a paycheck and you couldn't put food on the table, and try and have empathy for us.
Today's report is little comfort for these women who continue to lose hope and sleep over their pay. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, the government says it's exploring all options for the long term, but the Auditor General and the minister agree right now there's no alternative to Phoenix. Michael Ferguson is promising another report this spring into how Phoenix was implemented, but there's another question. Should Ottawa have known there could be trouble? In 2008, Queensland Health in Australia upgraded its pay system to a program by IBM. That's the same company behind Phoenix. Immediately, employees complained about, again, being underpaid, overpaid, not paid at all. A further rollout to other state departments was canned, and a 2013 commission called the system a catastrophic failure. The total cost to taxpayers there, 1.2 billion Australian dollars. The Auditor General also uncovered that Canada Revenue Agency call centres meant to help you Canadians with your tax questions are instead providing dismal service. If you've ever tried to call the Canada Revenue Agency, more often than not, you hear this.
Welcome to the Canada Revenue Agency's Individual Tax Inquiry Service. Due to high demand, all of our agents are currently busy and our agent queues are full.
The Auditor General says the CRA picks up only a third of the calls it receives because it just can't handle the volume. More than 28 million callers get a busy signal or this message.
If you still need to speak to an agent, please call back later.
The call centers have a policy of not letting people wait more than 2 minutes to talk to someone. So to meet that target, rather than keeping them on hold, CRA sends the callers back to this.
Demand, all of our agents are currently busy and our agent queues are full.
And when Canadians eventually do get through to the tax man, the Auditor General actually says they get wrong answers to their questions about 1/3 of the time. One final note on the AG report today. Michael Ferguson found that the Trudeau government has largely lived up to its promise to provide support to more than 40,000 Syrian refugees. But Ottawa didn't collect quite enough data to track whether those newcomers get access to things like basic health care or if kids were in fact in school. Andrew, later tonight on The National, we'll hear from one of the Syrian families to see just how well they've integrated into this country.
Okay, sounds good. Meantime, we are hearing more from Bell employees tonight after this week's Go Public story about the company's high-pressure sales tactics. Customers, too, are getting in touch with us. They're telling us stories of upselling people or being upsold, and the circumstances around some of them pretty startling. Here's Erica Johnson of Go Public.
Shailene McInnes keeps careful track of numbers. It's her job as a bookkeeper. So she wondered about a number she spotted on her in-law's TV bill from Bell.
I had to go through every line on it to figure out why it was so high.
A Bell customer service rep had signed her in-laws up for something called Fibe TV, delivered through fiber optic. Turns out it automatically includes a charge for internet service, too. But McInnes' in-laws are in their late 70s, don't have any computers, had no idea they were paying for internet. She called a Bell customer service rep.
When I was speaking to him on the phone, when he was trying to avoid taking it off the bill, I said to him, how many other senior citizens are you guys doing this to?
In email after email to Go Public, Bell customers describe how they've been upsold too. Promised a free phone that wasn't. Sold Fibe TV without infrastructure for it to work. Billed for upgrades that weren't requested. Charged a fee to cancel services I didn't ask for. The list goes on. A flood of Bell employees, past and present, are speaking out too, telling Go Public they are penalized if a customer downgrades their services. They lie to customers about contracts and promotion lengths. They're forced to sell to elderly customers. And when a customer dies, are still expected to save the service and upsell the grieving relative.
And Go Public's Erica Johnson joins me now. So, Erica, in your original story, Bell didn't really have much to say beyond insisting that they don't instruct their agents to mislead people. Have they said anything more to you since?
Well, it was more of the same today, Andrew. Bell sent us a statement that said, in part, that the behavior you described would be completely contrary to Bell's culture and values, which are reflected in a clear code of conduct that applies to all Bell team members. And then it goes on to say, we take any concerns about our sales and service practices very seriously.
Okay, but what about the employees? I mean, short of quitting, complaining, or getting fired, is there anything they can do?
Well, it's interesting. I spoke with a labor lawyer today, and he said if the allegations are true, that employees could, in fact, file for something called constructive dismissal. And that's where they feel their workplace environment is so toxic that there is so much pressure to sell and sell that it's actually making them sick and they're not able to do their jobs. He says in that case, those employees could actually consider themselves terminated but still qualify for compensation. As for Bell saying it doesn't condone unethical behavior of the part of its employees to upsell customers, to sell them products and services they don't need, here's what the lawyer had to say about that.
An employer can't hide behind the idea that, well, we don't know, we didn't say so. An employer should know. An employer must monitor its employees to make sure that whatever is expected is done.
Now, Andrew, as for the seniors in our story who were charged for internet, even though they had no computers, in fact, all they had was an old flip phone, well, Bell has agreed to lower their bill.
Okay, some good news there. Erica Johnson, Go Public, thanks so much. And hey, if you're a telecom worker with a story to share, you can send an email to gopublic@cbc.ca. Well, net neutrality in the U.S. could be on borrowed time. So far, net neutrality rules have limited how much control telecom companies have over what you can do or see on the net. But today, the head of the U.S. Federal Communications Commission revealed his plans to dismantle net neutrality. The way he sees it, government needs to stop micromanaging the internet. But top technology firms like Google, Amazon, and Facebook are against the change because it would allow big U.S. internet service providers like AT&T to control and charge extra for customers' access to their sites. As for Canada, net neutrality here isn't under direct threat. But according to the Open Media Foundation, if the plan succeeds, we'd be affected all the same, since many popular sites and services are based in the United States.
Well, to the United States now, in the case of Roy Moore, Republican candidate for an important Senate seat, a story that reflects the times in the U.S., politics that refuses compromise, fused to a cultural moment. High-profile men being called to account. Today, the voice many have been waiting to hear, Donald Trump's. Paul Hunter looks at whether anything is clearer tonight.
On the opposing sides of the Roy Moore debate, there are those who still back him in his bid to be a U.S. Senator, and those who absolutely do not. And for 2 weeks, there's been no public comment on Moore from Donald Trump until now.
Let me just tell you, Roy Moore denies it. That's all I can say. He denies it. And by the way, he totally denies it.
Moore, a Republican from Alabama, is accused by a number of women of sexual misconduct and assault, including, years ago, child molestation involving a 14-year-old girl. Moore denies all of it, and today his team dug in, blaming Democrats, old-school Republicans, and the media.
If you can be tricked in 2 weeks about Judge Roy Moore, then they win.
The political stakes are enormous. Republicans control the U.S. Senate, but barely. This should have been an easy win for them, but now Moore's Democratic opponent, Doug Jones, is ahead in the polls. Jones is known for his work as a lawyer in 2001 for prosecuting aging members of the Ku Klux Klan for an infamous firebombing of a church in Birmingham in 1963, a crime that helped spark the U.S. civil rights movement. Today, Trump slammed Jones.
I can tell you one thing for sure. We don't need a liberal person in there, a Democrat. Jones, I've looked at his record. It's terrible in crime. It's terrible in the border. It's terrible in the military.
It now puts Trump in an unusual spot. He's backing a candidate criticized by his own daughter, Ivanka.
On Roy Moore's disturbing actions, Ivanka Trump says there's a special place in hell for people who prey on children.
This is the latest anti-Moore ad from the Jones campaign.
Conservative voices, putting children and women over party.
Trump today didn't rule out personally campaigning in support of Roy Moore. He said he'll decide on that next week. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, tonight, CBS and PBS have fired Charlie Rose after several women he worked with came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct. His morning show co-host said they're deeply disturbed by the news.
I've enjoyed a friendship and a partnership with Charlie for the past 5 years. I've held him in such high regard, and I'm really struggling because what do you say when someone that you deeply care about has done something that is so horrible? How do you wrap your brain around that? I'm really grappling with that.
CBS says at least 3 of its employees have come forward with more allegations. Rose has issued a statement apologizing for his behavior, even though he says he doesn't believe all of the allegations are true. But when confronted about them by a reporter, he had this to say.
You want to say anything to those accusers that's accusing you? You want to say anything to those accusers, the people that's accusing you of all these wrongdoings?
It's not wrongdoings.
And the flood of allegations continues in Hollywood tonight. Pixar co-founder and Walt Disney Animation chief John Lasseter is taking a 6-month leave of absence. The Hollywood Reporter claims the 60-year-old was known to hug, kiss, and grope female employees. Actress and writer Rashida Jones has also said that he made an unwanted advance toward her. Lasseter is known for directing films like A Bug's Life, Cars, and Toy Story. He's apologized and says he'll use this time off to recharge. Joy and celebration have replaced decades of fear and uncertainty on the streets of Zimbabwe's capital. At least for now, Robert Mugabe's long rule is over. He resigned today just as the country's parliament was moving to impeach him, and then this happened. As you can tell, Zimbabweans have been waiting for this for a long time. For 37 years, Mugabe utterly dominated his once thriving nation. And when his shadow was finally lifted, a party broke out that went all day and well into the night. Still, Mugabe's resignation does raise big questions. Can Zimbabwe reclaim its former wealth and stability? Will Mugabe's likely successor, known as the crocodile, allow true democracy to flourish? Even with those questions unanswered, the mood remains one of excitement and hopeful liberation. Margaret Evans is in the capital, Harare, as Zimbabweans look to the future.
This was high noon for Robert Mugabe, though no one knew it at the time. Zimbabweans gathering outside the parliament where MPs were meeting to start impeachment procedures. The people here willing the legislators on. Zimbabwe is a country of 1 million shattered dreams. Mugabe's rule leaving people with little but their dignity.
He never had the people at heart.
50-year-old Luke Kusena hasn't worked in years.
We believe that when he goes, everybody will be eager, especially the investors will be eager to come back to invest in the country and probably to create some employment.
In an office down the street, an old political foe of Mugabe was preparing for what he thought would be a long impeachment process. Morgan Changarai has had to watch the military, once used as a tool of oppression, turn liberator.
It may be unconstitutional, but it's a necessary evil. It is something that the people of Zimbabwe were desperate to have.
Outside, the future had already arrived. Zimbabwe forever changed by the news Mugabe had resigned by letter.
Bye-bye, Mugabe!
It took a while for people to understand what was happening. When they did, the streets were like wildfire. It was like 4 decades of despair turned into unbridled joy. Grateful crowds surrounded bemused soldiers in their tanks, refusing to crack a smile at first, breaking down when the free shoe shines started up.
This one, I don't even know what is this.
Others needed simply to rage.
They're going to prison. With their wife.
People are going to be celebrating all night long. That's the parliament just down the street behind me. The sun has gone down. People are happy about that because they say it means the sun has gone down on the regime of Robert Mugabe.
Tomorrow may well indeed bring more uncertainty, but this was a taste of freedom few in Zimbabwe will forget.
And Margaret Evans joins us from Harare. And Margaret, tell us about the man expected to take Mugabe's place.
Well, Ian, his nickname is the Crocodile, so that gives you a little bit of an idea. That's because he has a reputation for brutality. He's Robert Mugabe's old intelligence chief. He's accused of some very grave human rights abuses in the 1980s. He's the man who would have been in charge of the intimidation campaign at various elections, very brutal intimidation, various elections throughout the history of Zimbabwe. So obviously a lot of people worried about him. People who support him say he's modern, he's more in touch, and that he'll be better equipped to help right the Zimbabwean economy, which is really just at the bottom of a crevasse right now.
It's such an interesting dichotomy because we've seen the celebration, and yet at the same time, this man has such an ominous past. As you've been talking to people, especially today, what are they saying to you?
Well, a lot of people don't necessarily want to talk about it. They certainly don't want to be seen to be criticizing someone who is being held responsible for helping to end 4 decades or nearly 4 decades of dictatorship. And so people are kind of cautious when you ask them about this, whether they trust him. Are they just going from one dictator to another? I was in the crowds today, and one man actually was hearing me interview some people, and afterwards he came up to me and he whispered in my ear, he said, "You know this man is a killer, and we know he's a killer too. But you can only fight one battle at a time, and we're going to wait to fight the next battle." And I guess the presumption is that that battle would be against him.
And interesting that that man only dared whisper that in your ear as opposed to saying it out loud. Margaret, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Here's what else we're following on the National tonight. It is flu season, but before your kids get their shot, you'll want to know about new research. It reveals what parents can do to try to help prevent pain.
The government unveiled its plan for marijuana. Who can produce it and how? But will legalization really end the black market?
Plus, what immigration changes mean for thousands of Haitians living in the United States and what it means for Canada, too.
It's either you go back to Haiti, live here in the shadows, or take your chances in Canada. And some people have some family members in Canada, and if asylum doesn't work, I'm pretty sure they'll figure something else out.
Have you ever wondered how a police sketch is put together? Well, we were wondering that too. That's why today we're visiting the Saskatoon Police Service and Sergeant Terry Lafferty.
What does this person look like?
Like I said, it was a woman. She's probably about my age, perhaps younger.
If you could just go through and when you see something that stands out as similar to that person, what you remember, just let me know and we'll make a note of it. And
okay. She's got that like angular, like the chin is pretty good.
You have to remember, these sketches are not for people that have never left their house and never encountered anybody.
Yeah.
Sketches are for either police officers, friends and family of the suspect, really, or acquaintances, people that know them. That's how we do it. It's all you're not likely going to, and it's very rare that you would walk down the street and walk past somebody that you saw in the sketch. That's really, people are expecting to match a photo with a photo. Sketch, it's just an enhancement of some certain characteristics where a friend's going to go, you know, that guy kind of has the same this as little Joey or whatever. Well, I'll show you what I have so far, and then we can go from there. Okay. So right off the top, what do you like and what would you like to change?
I feel like her face needs to be thinner,
Sure.
is my first reaction.
Okay.
Around here, like I feel it could even come up as
Sure.
far as that. It's our meteorologist, Christy
that's
Kleimenhaga. The funny thing for me, when I went back and I looked at this, I got her outfit completely wrong. So imagine just being that person who you're describing someone who you saw briefly, perhaps in a traumatic event.
Yep.
And you know, I'm just describing someone who was on my news last night.
Breaking news for you now. One-time teen heartthrob David Cassidy has died. The star of the hit 1970s TV show, The Partridge Family, was admitted to hospital last week with liver and kidney failure. He had a long-time struggle with alcohol and substance abuse, but in his younger days, he was a full-on superstar. Along with his stepmother, actress Shirley Jones, he made The Partridge Family a cultural phenomenon. He was 67 years old. Lebanon's Prime Minister Saad Hariri has just returned to the country after resigning in Saudi Arabia just over 2 weeks ago. It was a surprising announcement then. Some wondered if he'd been pressured into it. And Lebanese officials said they refused to accept his resignation until he officially did so on home soil. Hariri says he does plan to speak publicly about the situation now that he's back in Beirut. We're also just hours away from hearing the outcome of the UN war crimes trial of the so-called butcher of Bosnia, Ratko Mladic. He's the former Bosnian Serb general accused of overseeing the killings of more than 7,000 men and boys at Srebrenica in 1995. It's widely expected he'll be convicted of genocide.
It could be legal in less than a year, and today we got a sense of Ottawa's plans for pot.
We want a system that will better protect the health and safety of Canadians and that will enable a diverse, competitive, and legal industry comprising both of large and small players across the country.
With that, the government unveiled its proposed regulations for who can produce legal pot and how to do it. They include a new licensing system, strict rules for security at pot facilities and security clearances for personnel, quality control, including limits on potency, and strict rules for packaging so it won't be enticing to kids. And you get a say. Ottawa wants Canadians to weigh in on all of this by January 20th. But as Catherine Cullen reports, questions are already being raised about that packaging and why some people with criminal records will be allowed in the business.
We produce over 6 tons of medical cannabis for patients from coast to coast to coast.
It is a lot of pot. MedRelief is one of the biggest players in Canadian medical marijuana, and it wants to sell recreational pot too.
We have some authority when it comes to understanding what its successful cannabis cultivation and science is all about.
But with unlimited licenses coming up for grabs under the new system, big players will have competition from micro-cannabis. Think microbreweries, but for pot.
If people choose that they want to enter the market in a small fashion, they certainly can.
But like the big guys, small players will still have plenty of regulatory hoops to jump through, including tracking every single seed sown or joint produced. The government is also considering letting some people with non-violent criminal records get involved in the industry.
We're just asking the question, should these people with a small amount of personal possession, should they be excluded from the market or should we consider them?
Certain brand elements appear to very much be part of what the federal government has listened to us.
There's also the question of packaging for recreational pot. Producers argue clearly branded products will make it easier to take on the black market.
It's incredibly important to us because it helps, again, differentiate legitimate product from black market product.
However, the government's own cannabis task force warned that branding could influence minors. It recommends that officials require plain packaging for cannabis products. But the government is only talking about restricting colors and characters on packages.
Why didn't you move ahead on plain packaging despite the recommendation from the task force?
Actually, we are looking at making sure that we have strict guidelines when it comes to packaging.
Decisions still to come, with the legalization deadline about 7 months away. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
If you had any doubt that pot was going to become big business, consider this. Today, Statistics Canada says it's going to start measuring its impact on the Canadian economy. And to do that, it will begin trying to figure out how much cannabis is being produced and consumed in this country before it even becomes legal. It says it will start integrating the data into GDP estimates, gross domestic product estimates, beginning in November of 2019.
When we come back, a moment so many kids dread. She's being prepped for the flu shot, and spoiler alert, she's not going to like it. But there's new research on how to help kids cope right after the break. And you can go deeper on the stories of the day earlier each day. Subscribe to our newsletter at cbcnews.ca/The National. The National Today takes you inside our journalism every afternoon.
About the popular vote.
Facebook has also been roundly criticized for becoming a home to fake news. But is YouTube, the video sharing website owned by Google, any better?
We know that our government has no problem killing masses of civilians, okay?
People looking for information in the moments immediately after a breaking news story are often getting a mix of fact and fabrication. Take, for example, the mass shooting earlier this month at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
Brother Jim reporting here from End Times Prophecy News.
Within hours, dozens of videos popped up purporting to have exclusive details on the shooter.
I have 100% proof here that he's far leftist and he's Antifa, okay?
And they quickly gathered tens of thousands of views, pushing them to the top of the most watched algorithms.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting worldwide.
Alex Jones, who created InfoWars, is probably the best known conspiracy theorist and fake news peddler on YouTube.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
His YouTube channel has more than 2 million subscribers. That's only slightly fewer than CNN's YouTube channel. BuzzFeed's Jane Litvinenko covers the problem of fake news and thinks we should all be paying more attention to what's happening at YouTube.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what's been happening on Facebook and Twitter. How is YouTube different when it comes to fake news?
YouTube is different because it doesn't play to emotion the same way that Facebook or Twitter do. So when you share a headline to Facebook or Twitter, it's the headline that matters. With YouTube, it's the actual contents of the video that matters. So with YouTube, somebody will take your hand and walk you through their conspiracy or their coverage, if you will.
And they're quick to jump in, right?
Absolutely.
After these breaking news events like we showed.
Absolutely. That's the very similar thing between YouTube and other social media networks, that they're a lot faster than the legitimate information that's reaching them.
Okay, so when we talk about legitimate information now, are people getting their news from YouTube?
Some people are. I mean, YouTube is its own social network, just as some people exclusively get news from Facebook and exclusively get news from Twitter or any other website. YouTube is its own bubble, and there's no question that people are watching these videos and they're thinking that they have the whole picture.
And if you did try to challenge some of the stuff that's out there, is it even possible to do that?
It is so difficult with YouTube. So YouTube video is 10 minutes long, for example, or 15 minutes long. And in the span of those 15 minutes, we're getting so much information and so many either facts or fiction that to break it down and to challenge it, you would have to go point by point by point by point. But whereas on Facebook or Twitter, there's a way to sort of reply or flag false content, there isn't on YouTube. So there's no guarantee that somebody who's watched the video on YouTube will also see all the points that you're debunking elsewhere.
But what about the comments section?
Oh, the comment section. Sure, you could place it there, but there are thousands of comments on a lot of these videos, right. Hundreds. It's so easy for the real information to get lost.
So there's tons of pressure on Facebook, on Twitter as well, to kind of clean up its act and get rid of the fake news and all of the ways that it probably should have done something about 5 years ago. Is there any pressure on YouTube?
So there is some pressure on Google, and most of that is coming from U.S. lawmakers.
One, you're gonna be okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1.
For young children and parents, moments just like that are very familiar. And buckle up for more. It is flu season, which means it's needle season. How we deal with it matters more than you might think. As Cass Rusi tells us, new Canadian research has revealed a key factor in conquering that fear of the shot.
Hi there, I'm coming here for a flu shot for my daughter.
It may be one of the most dreaded times of the year.
Just right in here, yeah.
The annual flu shot.
I just need one of her arms exposed for the shot.
We're at a pediatric flu clinic in Toronto, and there's going to be a lot of screaming, but we'll try to keep it to a minimum.
Just gonna have her sitting on your lap. Yeah.
Already, 4-year-old Noura Anjuman isn't liking this one bit.
I'm scared.
It's not Noura's first flu shot, but the experience is no less stressful. Before Noura knows it, it's over.
That was quick. That was quick.
It's episodes like this that's fascinated York University's professor Rebecca Pillai-Riddell for some time now.
I think what goes on.
She's following more than 500 parents and their preschoolers during their vaccinations.
One of the main things that we want to always communicate is how powerful parents are. What we found was that parents who were sensitive, parents who knew how to soothe their babies close, that actually carried through all the way to preschool, and we could predict which children would cope better or experience more pain after a needle from how they were acting when the baby was 12 months old.
The research found that kids who were distressed before getting the shot feel more pain afterwards. That's why preparing them before the vaccination is critical.
You're gonna count to 10 with me? 1. We're gonna clean first. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, ready, bud? 3, 2, 1. All right, it's all done.
Do you have some kind of strategy before you get here?
Usually I tell them a day before to get them ready. And then once we get here, we just count to 10, and then it goes really quick.
Distracting kids during the vaccination is a good thing, say the researchers.
Yeah, look at mommy. Oops. Oops.
Encouraging the child to take deep breaths also helps. But here's a big no-no.
So apologizing to the child, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Oh, mommy is so sorry. I wish mommy could take this needle for you. So that actually also makes a child aroused and worried about the situation.
Does it hurt?
The York University research team hopes to keep following the kids right up until they're 10 years old. Cass Rusi, CBC News, Toronto.
And Dr. Danielle Martin is a physician with Women's College Hospital in Toronto. You have, over the years, given shots to a lot of kids of different ages. Well, what's some of your advice?
Well, nobody of any age really enjoys getting a shot. That's the first thing. So we should acknowledge that it's not a lot of fun, but there are lots of things that we can do to reduce the pain from immunization. In small infants, we know, for example, that breastfeeding a baby while giving an immunization is an effective way of reducing pain. There are ointments and creams that can be applied that are like a local anesthetic in kids of not teeny tiny babies, but older children for sure. Distraction works, and not just distraction like having a conversation or watching a video or Dora the Explorer or whatever, although that can be effective too, but also physical distraction. So massaging the area with a moderate pressure just prior to and during giving the actual shot will distract the body's pain sensory mechanisms. So there are lots of different ways that we can try to reduce the pain from immunization. And then, of course, as we've learned today, there are behavioral things that as parents we also have to watch about what we're telegraphing to our kids about how big a deal it is to get a shot.
You know, when we talked about this in the newsroom earlier today, though, some of the parents, especially whose kids are a bit older now, kind of shook their head and say, you know what, we're coddling our kids. Just give them the shot and get over with it. But you actually feel that we should take a little time.
I mean, I think there are small things we can do, right? So I don't think we need to turn it into a huge deal. But at the same time, it is uncomfortable. And so if we can minimize that or make it easier on people, there's no reason not to. Studies like this actually point to the fact that there's a fine line between you're walking between wanting to not coddle your kid and at the same time acknowledging that something that's painful is painful and it's not fun.
We have just a few seconds left, but I guess we should point out that kids, what you were saying, as young as 6 months old should be getting the flu shot.
That's right. So we're heading into flu season and we know that there are priority groups. There is a significant risk of being hospitalized and having complications from influenza if you fall into one of those priority groups. I think a lot of Canadians know that seniors over 65 or people in long-term care facilities should really have the flu shot, but so should pregnant women and so should children under the age of 5. I mean, we all should, but those are high priority groups and it can significantly reduce the risk of being hospitalized. And so it is important. And in many provinces in Canada, in addition to the traditional flu shot with the needle, there is also a nasal spray flu shot. So it's possible in some places to avoid the needle altogether.
All right, Dr. Martin, thank you.
Thank you.
So there is a compelling case for the flu vaccination, but it doesn't mean that it's leading to action. Figures from 2015-16 show that overall, 32%, just under a third of Canadians 12 and older, reported receiving a flu shot. And it's interesting when you break it down by age. 60% of seniors say they got vaccinated, but those aged 18 to 34 had the lowest rate, just 19%, essentially 1 in 5 getting the shot. Well, still ahead on The National, following up on the 40,000 Syrian refugees who came to Canada, the challenges and rewards of their new home in Winnipeg.
What's been the best part about it so far?
People. And people Canada good.
There's no denying it's a competitive world out there. That's why many parents think it's never too soon for Junior to start competing for his place in the world. And the best way to win? Excel at everything. And for some kids, that takes a big bite out of downtime.
Mondays I have yoga, Tuesdays I have piano, Wednesdays I have karate.
Honore says it's time to put on the brakes. Overscheduling children isn't good for kids or parents.
Hyperparenting turns childhood into a race to perfection, and parenting along the way becomes a cross between a competitive sport and product development.
Bit by bit, yes. Gently, gently, gently.
As a father of two, Honore can relate to parents who want to help their children succeed. When his son was 8 years old, his teacher dropped what Honore calls the G-bomb. She said his son was a gifted young artist. In response, Honore flipped into hyper-parenting mode, searching for art teachers, classes, and camps to nurture his son's talent.
So I woke up the next day, walked to school with my son, and said to him, you know, I found an art tutor for you, and he's going to turn you into a new Rembrandt. And my son just looked at me like I was from outer space, and he said, well, I don't want a tutor, you know, I just love to draw. Why can't I just draw?
In his books, In Praise of Slow and Under Pressure, Honore says adults need to chill out and back off. His books have become go-to manuals for those who adhere to a child-rearing style that's become known as slow parenting.
Slow parenting is about bringing a bit of balance back. It's about giving children the time and space to explore the world on their own terms, at their own pace, to make mistakes and learn from them, to get bored even, you know, so that they can learn how to create and to invent their own fun and work out who they are rather than what we want them to be.
Critics might say, hold on here. Structured play, like sports, teaches kids to be part of a team. Slow parents agree, but say, why does it have to be so competitive? This is a soccer league where no one keeps score. There are no winners, no losers, and you don't win a ribbon just for showing up. Tell me, why do you like playing soccer for this league?
Because it doesn't really matter about the scores. It really matters, like, to have fun.
Lots of good people, make new friends. All this cool stuff.
It sounds like just letting kids be kids is what I'm hearing. Is that, it just feels like you're letting kids play, do whatever they, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I find when they keep scores at their age, it kind of, the intensity changes.
I think another thing parents can experiment with is the next time you take your child to an extracurricular activity, whether it's dance or hockey or tennis, instead of staying on the sidelines, watching, hovering, shouting advice and encouragement, why not just go away and have a coffee? Just back off and let the child get on with the activity without feeling that he or she has to have one eye on what you're saying or feeling, giving them the freedom to choose, to disagree, to explore, to stumble, to fall over, to get up again, dust themselves down, to take risks.
In New York today, there were protests against the new directive from Washington. 60,000 Haitians were put on notice yesterday that their temporary protected status, or TPS, is coming to an end. It means that come July 2019, they'll be forced to leave. For many, that means going back to a country that is still recovering from disaster. And that possibility has already had ripple effects here in this country. Haitians have been fleeing the U.S., looking to Canada for asylum. And Canadian officials have had a very clear message for them. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But first, the families caught in the middle. Stephen D'Souza spoke with them to ask, what will you do now?
You got it.
15-year-old Stevenson Jean-Louis and his brothers are like any American teenagers. They talk shoes, girls, and the latest phones, anything but their future in the country.
All my dreams I have planned for myself in the future, I feel like that is just being washed all the way out. I feel like all those dreams I have planned for myself is going to be canceled.
Yeah, the front
That's a four? His father came to the U.S. from Haiti in 2007. They've had temporary protected status, or TPS, since 2010.
These.
It's allowed Fresnel Jean-Louis to work as a cleaner, raise his family, and establish roots in America. Now that TPS will end in 2019, he doesn't know what comes next. America has offered me so much opportunity. I want to stay here, he says. I guess God will decide what will happen to us. For thousands of Haitians living under TPS, returning to the impoverished country they left isn't an option. Mainly because it's a place their American-born or raised children barely know.
If something like that happened, our children, it will be a real disaster for them.
Fearing deportation when TPS ends means many are afraid to speak out. This woman doesn't want her identity revealed. We'll call her Joanne.
The kids, they don't want to hear about that. It's really frightening. They're really sad. And they don't want me to talk about that. Mommy, don't talk about that. You're not going to Haiti. You're not coming back to Haiti. That's not possible, Mommy.
Advocates for TPS holders argue that they have jobs and pay taxes. What's your emotional state right now? Joanne's a home care worker studying to be a nurse.
It's really stressful. Really stressful. Because when you don't know what can happen to you, you know.
Lawyer Emmanuel DePaz says immigration workers won't be banging down doors when TPS expires. There will be due process. But for those who have to leave, Canada may end up being the best of a lot of bad options.
You know, it's either you go back to Haiti, live here in the shadows, or take your chances in Canada. And some people have some family members in Canada, and if asylum doesn't work, I'm pretty sure they'll figure something else out.
Dub. For Stevenson Jean-Louis and his family, the hope is that his stepbrother's green card application will come through and that he'll be able to sponsor the rest of the family.
I feel like I shouldn't be worried about this. It's not something I should be worried about. I feel I should be worried about educational-wise, things how I'm going to be successful in the future.
Joanne doesn't have that option. She wants to stay.
We want to stay in the country to continue to serve the country.
Like so many Haitians here, she wants to step out of the shadows. She now has 20 months to figure out how. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
Now, Canada did once have its own version of TPS. It was called a temporary suspension of removals. And like in the United States, it was introduced for Haitians after their big earthquake in 2010. It allowed some of them to apply for permanent residence, but the current government ended that protection back in August of last year. So, those Haitians who are thinking of applying for asylum in Canada to avoid being sent back to Haiti may be out of luck. MP Emmanuel Dubourg was delivering that message to the Haitian community in New York today. Have a listen.
And that is really important to tell them there is no special program right now in Canada for Haitian communities or other communities. There's no special program. And also it's important also to know that if those people cross the border and we don't accept them, we're going to send them back at the country of origin.
It's their responsibility to understand if these refugees are integrating.
The Auditor General says Ottawa has largely lived up to its commitments to the 40,000 Syrians who sought refugee status across Canada, but more needs to be done to track things like attendance at school and how many are getting social assistance. Cameron McIntosh checked in on one Syrian family to see how they're adapting to life in Winnipeg.
What will tomorrow be?
It starts here each day, trying to get just a little better.
What is your name?
At 42 years old, Fadel Ahmad is learning a new language in this federally funded course to help him start a new life in a new country.
What's been the best part about it so far?
People. And people kind of good.
His story begins near Aleppo, which he left for Lebanon as a young man searching for work. When the war broke out in Syria years later, he gave up on returning and successfully applied to come to Canada.
What's been the hardest thing so far?
اللغة يعني speak no English.
In fact, his 15-year-old daughter still does most of his translating. It's been nearly 2 years now since the government placed his family in Winnipeg.
So what was provided to you? When you got here, how did the government help you?
Everything.
Everything. Like they help him to give him a house and
money يعني one month.
The house is public housing. For a year, there was some federal financial support. Now, EI just covers the rent. There's some government medical coverage and the language course, but otherwise, he's on his own. And he's not complaining.
Is there something that the government's missing?
Everything.
They're not missing anything.
Fellow Syrians have helped. He's learning to paint and hopes to be working soon.
3.
Meanwhile, his kids are adapting. They're picking up the language quickly. His wife will soon start English classes. As a family, they're all in.
Do you hope to get Canadian citizenship?
Yes.
A connection that recently grew even stronger with the arrival of a new family member.
So she's Canadian?
She's Canadian, yes.
When you tell her, when she's old enough, your story about how you came to Canada, what do you hope she says about it?
Yeah, happy.
Yes, happy.
A conversation he's looking forward to having in English. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
If a flight delay is lemon, well, witness lemonade. This video of an impromptu sing-along at Toronto's Pearson Airport has been a Canadian sensation today. Tonight we'll meet some of the people behind it. That's after the break.
Thank you. Right now, I'd like to bring out another fellow who's been on Music Hop before, and I know you're going to like him because he does such a terrific job on everything he sings. He's got a new folk song number for us, one that is really starting to make it on the hit parade charts. Let's have a real good welcome from Gord Lightfoot as he sings Jimmy Rogers' new up-and-comer, 210, 618.
I've been away so long, fought a war that's come and gone. Doesn't anybody know my name? My sister's up and wed, and my mama's put to bed, and now my old dog Red's gone lame. Please tell me if you can, what time do the trains roll in? 210, 618, 1044. The house is falling down, ain't no use in hanging around. Doesn't anybody know my name? The girl I left behind, she's gone with a friend of mine. I don't have to read a sign to know things ain't the same. Please tell me if you can, what time do the trains roll in? 210, 618.
Boy, how do you feel about the way the folk songs are booming these days?
It's very good, Al. There certainly is a lot of work around for folk singers, and it's becoming quite evident. A lot of our the more commercial type folk songs are becoming quite evident in the
Doesn't anybody know my name?
I think I love you. I think I love you. So what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not sure of a love there is.
That's David Cassidy singing I Think I Love You. On this day, back in 1970, it was at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Sadly, though, tonight, his publicist has confirmed that Cassidy has died at the age of 67. The singer and actor was perhaps best known for his role on The Partridge Family. He was hospitalized last week with organ failure. His publicist said in a statement tonight that he died surrounded by those he loved. Also on the National tonight, we are tracking the fallout after a pretty scary moment for a Windsor, Ontario mother. She showed up at daycare to discover that her 4-year-old daughter was not there.
I knew, because I know my kid, that she was either sleeping on that bus or someone took her. So my first thought was like, please be on that bus and let's find her so we know.
Yeah, no kidding. So there was a frantic search, and thankfully it ended in a school bus parking lot.
She heard someone say like Ellery, and then she like kind of popped up. I guess she was pretty shaken up. She was shaking, cold.
So get this, Ellery ended up spending 3 hours on board. Turns out, like her mother suspected, she'd fallen asleep on her bus ride, and the bus driver didn't notice, just parked the bus and left. Now, the bus company says drivers are supposed to check for children before leaving, and so the driver has been fired. Also tonight, ride-sharing company Uber is facing some tough questions after admitting that it covered up a major hack. It happened in October of last year. 57 million customers and drivers had their personal data, like names, emails, and even driver's license numbers, stolen. According to Bloomberg, Uber paid the hackers $100,000 to delete the stolen data and keep quiet about it. The company has admitted it made mistakes and says it has improved its security protocols.
I love my country. I love my city. It is a great privilege to be asked to host the Junos again. Truly, it's been a rough year for not just me. I'm sure it's been a rough year for a lot of people. And I tell you, it's my happy place.
Indeed, good news for Michael Bublé fans. The BC singer will once again be hosting the Juno Awards. And of course, an emotional return to the stage for Bublé. He referenced the rough year he's had. You may remember he stepped away from the spotlight to take care of his young son, who was diagnosed with cancer. His son is now doing better. The Junos will be held in Vancouver in March.
Well, more good news with a musical connection. You've probably seen the viral moment from Toronto's Pearson Airport last night when a group of people from Newfoundland and Labrador, stuck waiting for a delayed flight, decided to make the best of it. We tracked down some of them. Their reflections on that impromptu kitchen party is our story of the day.
I wanna go back when it's Capeland time again. Well, we had a 5-hour wait for our flight back to St. John's from Toronto. I was using the bathroom, and I could hear music. So I come out, and everyone's singing along, and Sean and Mr. Thornhill are playing Saltwater Joys.
People watching and different conversations going on, and I heard two people talk about how something about relating to Newfoundland songs and having good times, and I said this is a good opportunity now to start play something.
We never went to steal the sheep, we went to steal the cow. The old cow, she got angry because we woke her from her sleep.
Not every Newfoundlander can sing.
Every Newfoundlander knows how to try.
Newfoundlanders, they love their music, they love their culture, they love their heritage, and singing and dancing is a huge part of that.
I seriously went to Florida, Labadee, Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico, and out of all of it, it was probably my second favorite.
The party at the WestJet Games.
The party at the WestJet Games. I can't wait to tell my friends that.
Two things come to mind. First of all, don't put your accordion in the checked baggage because you never know when you might need it. And, you know, like all of us, I've been stuck in delays a lot of times at airports. A lot of people going to different places in the world. I've never seen a kitchen party break out. That was fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm very jealous. And I was about to say, way to take that soul-crushing experience of waiting for a delayed flight and turn it into something good. I wonder how old that kid is. I mean, he seems pretty talented.
Yeah, I think he's about 9 or something. Anyway, doesn't it make you just want to belong to Newfoundland? Not that I don't love Manitoba, but sometimes.
You're going to get in trouble even though
I
the
know.
sentiment is very, very nice. Newfoundland and Labrador, we all know, is a special place, and that was an example of it. Last night, that is the National for November 21st. Good night.
Good night.